The journey always begins somewhere. It can start from weakness, from aspiration, and even conquest. It can lead to amazing places with opportunities that define you. And that journey can bring you full circle, rekindle past dreams, and surround you with amazing people with incredible stories of inspiration. Hey everyone, welcome to the Inspirational 30. I'm your host, Jim Gardiner, and this is the show where I get to sit down with some amazing people from all walks of life, and we're all here to try to inspire you to be a better version of yourselves tomorrow than you were today. Now today's show is something different than what we've normally done. I'm really excited. We're going to have kind of a town hall discussion with two guests on the state of the fitness industry. It's become a huge thing. It's evolved in its ever-changing landscape, but also in the era of mass information, there's also misinformation. And we're going to try to decipher some of that and really get to some things that we as fitness professionals don't agree with perhaps, and hopefully steer you at home to have a more realistic fitness journey of your own, a healthy journey of your own. So today's guest, it's my pleasure to sit down with Danielle Loewen.
Hello.
Hello, and Kathy Kutzer.
Hi, Jim.
How are we doing?
Good.
The dynamic duo. So Danielle, you are a fitness professional, right? You've been around for a lot of years doing the fitness thing like myself.
Yep.
And Kathy, you are a clinical counselor.
That's right.
All right. So let's get into this. Let's talk about the fitness industry. So how has the landscape changed over the years? Like what, you know?
Well, first and foremost, I love it. Fitness is so fun, and it's an amazing journey for anyone to take. Everybody's journey it's unique and individual. Nobody has the same journey. So back in the day, you would run, you would swim, you would bike, right? That pretty much was fitness. Farmers didn't work out because they chucked, farmers and cowboys.
Yeah.
They didn't work out. But the rest of us did the three sort of big exercises, right? So in came bodybuilding, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jack LaLanne, mainstream male fitness, and Muscle Beach. I'm sure you've probably been there. Yeah. And the culture coming out of California. And then sort of women started getting in on the fitness trend in the 90s with the Robert Kennedy Media Empire and Oxygen magazine. Yeah.
Okay.
And so we had to actually go to the store, buy a figure out what he was telling us, and he had some very great information.
Yeah, so back then the information was all through a magazine, really.
Yeah, it was all through a magazine.
Right?
Yeah.
You had your supplements. I remember those. You're looking through, and then your tips on how to exercise and how to look like those people. Yeah. Which we'll get into.
Yeah.
But nowadays, it's what? It's all computer-based information.
Yeah. Facebook, Instagram. People are becoming Instagram fitness stars that aren't trained in fitness, know nothing about fitness.
Do you guys think that there's a difference too between, and again, like Kennedy and all those guys, and at the time I just assumed they were astute at what they did, like they were the higher education of being healthy. But I think in this day and age too, there's a lot of people that don't really know what they're talking about, or don't really have the pedigree to say and suggest that people do things. Is that correct?
I think that you can also observe this on a larger scale, not necessarily just with the fitness industry, but in general, coming from the days where you had to go to the library to find information to now having so much access at your fingertips to whatever you want to find. So if you have a question, you'll plug it into your computer and you'll get the answer you're looking for, be that true or be that false.
Right, within a millisecond.
A second.
Right?
Well, how many times has a client come to you and say, okay, so I'm sure doctors, all professionals have this problem now. I heard that so-and-so, this is the only way to do it. So
yes,
that's right.
This is what we should be doing now.
And we have to do it all the way.
We have to do
to
it
a
all
T.
the way,
On the wagon.
I know. And that changes weekly or monthly or whatever.
Monthly.
I mean, with all these new fads and workout plans and bells and whistles that come with it, right? I mean, it's never ending.
Yeah.
And it seems like, to me, what gets lost in all this is what it takes just to be healthy.
100%. I think
Right?
we've really taken the essence out of wellness away and replaced it with this anxious-driven process to get it done right to a T that is completely unsustainable and unachievable.
Yeah, because you had said something when we spoke too about, there's no follow-up on these people. Like, so when here's a product, here's the person for that product, said product. We don't know anything about that person, but we just assume you do this, you eat this, you drink this, you whatever, you work out like this, you look like this. And that is total BS.
It's false advertising.
It is false advertising, right?
yeah.
But why do people get sucked into it? What is it about human nature, or some people that just get pulled in?
I think,
Miss Counselor,
well,
come on,
I
give
think
us
that
the
it's so much
psychological.
bigger again than just this. I think this is one area that we can observe it, but we can see it through many different streams in human behavior. In the fitness industry, we are set up developmentally for quick fixes. Our brains are hardwired for fight or flight responses. We are constantly looking for danger. And because we're set up to be a little anxious, right now in our society, there's no real threats, but we have this anxious process that we need something now, we need it today, we need it yesterday. And the media, the social media that feeds into that neurobiology of our brain just hijacks everything and takes us. It's like out of control. We're all just going so hard in this direction right now. Let's get it done. Let's get it done yesterday.
So if we don't have this result, we're going to die.
That's right. We're going to die, and we're going to hate everyone around us who told us that it's going to be this outcome.
So, okay, so you're going with an angle then that there's some hardwired component that sets us up to be that way naturally. Is that correct? So
I think that's a piece of it.
Instinctually, we don't want to take the time or the effort to go from here to here. We just want to be here as fast as possible.
I think so.
Okay.
And I think it's so much more complex than that, but I think the neurobiology of us is a piece of it.
Okay.
And then there's the social, cultural pieces as well that kind of add another layer onto this that sets us up for failure.
Yeah, and I think, well, let's also talk about realism, because the essence, like when someone starts a health journey, wellness journey, fitness journey, whatever we want to label it, they should be realistic about their expectations. And I think it's a coach's job to set them up with realistic expectations. Don't you agree?
I absolutely agree. And in the media, what's selling is unrealistic expectations. Like, even the magazines, when we first got the magazines, there's a term in the fitness industry called genetic freaks. And, usually we take that as a negative connotation, but this is something to be proud of, right? So people that are, they're the descendants of the Greek gods. They're descendants of the Olympians, right? They naturally have that. They're predisposed genetically to it, and we see an image. So someone that you see in a magazine, let's take a female. She looks fit, she's got a six-pack, maybe she's even had a couple kids, right? Even so, those women that say, what's your excuse?
Yes.
I had a baby 6 weeks ago. And and we package them up and sell them. And they die, they're down, they're dieting, they're starving, essentially. They're depleting all their nutrient reserves, which bring out muscles and striations of muscle. They've tanned, contoured, enhanced, all those things. And then we package that up and we say, this is the after. This is what this is where the fitness journey takes you. And that's only for 1%, maybe 2% of the population. But it's what we see in the media. It's what we see everywhere, especially with Facebook, especially with Instagram. And
especially, I don't want to divides it up between men and women, but I think it's a little bit harsher on your side of the equation than it is for the guys.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, it is.
Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Women are, it's more of a thing where women are being judged by the way they look.
Yeah.
And I think it's based on how we look. Our value is based on how we look. And it's not just in the fitness industry. Again, like you look at mothers, the pressure that mothers are on to do it right, to have it perfect, to be the perfect mom, to have the perfect children. We are bombarded at every angle around what we should be. And when we're living from a place of what we should be, I mean, it's completely unrealistic. We can't even be in the moment to appreciate what we have.
Right.
One thing that I really like to explore with the people I work with is our family histories. And the fitness industry leaves out such a big piece around where our families have come from. An example of that would be my family came from a place of war where they didn't have access to food. So their way of eating food is to eat as much as you can with what you have. And
Right.
that was a way to survive when you didn't have access to food. Now that's been passed on from generations, and I certainly believe that that shows up in me in some ways. And I could see it as the should be, I shouldn't be this way, yet that's such a strength of my family that got us to where we are today. So I think the fitness industry leaves out, and these diets and these fads leave out so much of the bigger picture and have this really microscopic view of what it is that you should be doing,
Sure.
which sets us up for failure,
Sure.
as we are talking about.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
mean, I'm sure you know, you'll agree, but you just mentioned diets, and there's new diets popping up all the time. And as a fitness professional, you're always combating people coming to you. Oh, well, my friend's doing this, and I heard this is, like you said, I heard this is the only way to do this, or the only way to be is to be on. And what gets lost again, getting back to everyone's just trying to get on that quick train.
Yeah.
The nucleus is consistency, which, because I can have success to anybody in any diet, right? But my job is to give them a longevity perspective of life,
That's
not
right.
just an 8-week,
What's sustainable?
yeah,
What
well,
is the
that's it.
sustainable
What's sustainable,
lifestyle?
right? Let's discuss quick fix. Let's discuss the quick fix thing, because I think more now than ever, there's potions, lotions, gadgets, gurus, magic wands, magic pills. I mean, right?
Yes. Yep.
How does one navigate that? How does a trainer, how does a fitness professional, how does a counselor that has to deal with somebody that has it, how do we all navigate all of that, those landmines? Because that's really what they are.
Yeah. Like joking before, without saying the F word on TV, that's how you feel all of the time. Because you just want to, when you dedicate yourself to helping others in any kind of way, you want to see them have success. You don't want them to buy something and set themselves up for failure, emotionally, physically, financially.
Right, financially.
Financially.
They're not cheap.
Right? So happiness can't be bought, and so finding that peace within ourselves,
Absolutely.
that we can accept and love ourselves, and with the help of our fitness professionals. I mean, it takes a special fitness professional to sometimes swallow the money train too, to help somebody have a long-term program, to help somebody have long-term goals. Not sell yourself as someone who can have quick fixes and the before and
Right.
after photos, because it's dangerous. It's dangerous.
The business model of the fitness industry of quick fixes is very lucrative. You make so much money off of selling a product that is essentially setting people up for failure. Now, obviously, that's not 100% of the time. I think that there's room for, and there's purpose for diets and fitness programs as a tool. I think if you're using them as a tool, then they are incredibly helpful. But if you are using them as a means to an end, then they're not. I think that you're leaving out such a bigger picture if you're just grasping for the program.
Well, yeah, and I think it takes away, what gets me going is the fact that it takes away from, it's hard, it's work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to get healthy,
Yes.
get your bum off the couch, get out. Like there is no, you know, and well, let me lose 20 pounds. I mean, we could dissect this all day, but you know, whatever happened just to that good old fashioned work ethic, you talked about how this is a much larger picture.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same, if this is a microcosm of life, like back in the day,
Exactly.
our parents, their parents worked.
So hard.
Worked hard. People worked hard, right?
Well, because, and something I think I wrote to you was we want that sort of the American, it's, you know, it's all back to the American dream. And the perfect body, the perfect hair, the perfect face, the perfect bank account, do this quick fix and end up on a boat drinking with your friends at night, taking photos. It's just, it's not that simple. And we have to change on a cellular level. And no product is going to change us on a cellular level. That's the only, I mean, you've been through it personally, professionally. You can't take a protein shake and become a non-athlete into a very successful athlete. It doesn't work that way. Cellular level meaning our cells have to change.
That's right.
Our cells change over every few months in our body. They run on our fuel that we're putting in our body. They change with our activity. They change with time. It takes time. So I think that time,
Which is the one thing people don't want to give.
no,
100%.
and if we can accept where we are today, where we are tomorrow, where we are the day after, and the day after, you're going to have a lot more successful fitness journey and a healthy body journey along the way.
Acceptance, I mean, and that's something in your arena, I mean, look, I'll be honest, I struggle with it too. Like, you know, I want to look a certain way, you know, and sometimes I don't give a rat's behind. Like, I'm cool. Like, I'm like, you know, like right now I'm training for an Ironman. I'm like wasting away. My wife's like, what's happening? But I'm like, but that's just what happens. Like,
That's right.
right? I mean, but sometimes I'm still like, you know, like, yeah, geez, I'm like, you know, I get caught up in it too. Like, we all have to kind of safeguard ourselves because I don't feel like I do people that I work with justice if I don't walk the talk and be responsible that way too. But, you know, what are some of the tricks? Like, how can people maybe not be so self-reflected in the mirror all the time?
Well, and I think it's about, one is acknowledging that there is an emotional process that's driving this, in a sense, that there is more to it than making changes to your health and wellness. There's more to it than that. There's a bigger picture. So one, I think, is acknowledging that. The next is acknowledging the emotional process that might be driving us away from reaching some of our goals and working with someone to go through that. You mentioned acceptance, and that is such a big piece of the work. I think Kristen Neff is a leading researcher in self-compassion, mindful self-compassion. And she talks about how there's research out there that compares people who kind of give them a kick in the butt and let's get going, we have to be really hard on ourselves, and versus people who find a place of self-compassion and they really care about themselves and they have this relationship with themselves and are in deep contact with themselves. They know themselves. And paradoxically, it's the people that have compassion for themselves that have the goals and outcomes that they're looking for. Yet we have this idea in society that we need to kick ourselves in the butt to get things done. We need to motivate ourselves, and if we don't, we're not going to do it because we're all lazy. So we're kind of running off of that idea too.
So in a overview, then, almost the people that achieve what they want on that front are more in tune, more in love with themselves, like more happy with themselves.
Yes.
And accepting who
Acceptance.
they are.
Acceptance and self-compassion, I think, is a really big piece of it. And what does it take to be accepting and have self-compassion? I think that's the big question, because it's not the quick fix. It's not doing the latest trend. It's about being settled and turning inward and slowing down and looking at the bigger picture.
Yeah, and so, I mean, how is that, how has all this affected your practice? I mean, how has it affected your life as a professional?
Well, it makes me sad, actually. It breaks my heart because I see fit, beautiful people, they've been working hard for a year, 2 years, and tell me that they're not fit because they don't look like
They don't look. Yet they
the
just
starved.
did something that most people can't do.
Yes.
Regardless of
Or-
how they look.
Or not even something that most people can't do, something they couldn't do a year ago.
Fair enough,
Something they
right.
couldn't do a month ago. Something they couldn't
Right.
do a week ago even. That's amazing. That's amazing progress. And I'm really passionate about this because I work so hard. There was something I teach women, especially young women. They measured their health by how slim they were. They measured their health about how much weight they were losing. So now we're at the shift. I'm becoming a more mature woman. I'm an older woman now. And so it's time to say this isn't where we measure our health.
The old gene test. I want to fit into these jeans.
Yeah,
Right? That's what.
or can I fit into my clothes I wore when I was 17? Well, do
Right.
you want to be 17? Because I don't.
Right.
I don't want to be 17 again. So why do I want to look like I'm 17 again? So I asked several of my clients to stop following Instagram posts. Get those fitness posts off your Instagram. Stop following them because inevitably they're selling a product, selling a $100 quick 9x11 program. That's one thing that we do, and constantly, measuring, helping someone measure their progress as well, can really, even those fit tests that you can do for people, that really helps people see within themselves how far they've come, and being kind, never, and being kind, and if you show someone that you can be kind to them. That they're worth being kind. It's worth for them to be kind to themselves.
So we got about 4.5 minutes left, 4 minutes left of the segment, but we'll start with you, Kathy. What what advice can you give someone at home that may be watching this that we are speaking to, that they
Yeah.
want to be healthy, but they are looking at pictures or ads and maybe setting up some false realistic things? How can you help them possibly just get out and be healthy and find the fun in it?
Yeah, I think it's acknowledging that that's fake news. It's false advertising.
There you go.
And not getting trapped in it. And then when you're looking for professionals to help you, look for ones that really fit for what you're looking for. Maybe look for ones that acknowledge that there's a bigger piece to this. Maybe looking for professionals that work together. I work with a fitness professional here in town, and she offers the personal training and I offer the clinical counseling, and we support women on their journey by bringing in this bigger picture piece as well as the tools. And there's lots of resources in Nanaimo where people can just slow down and start to rethink, is this goal realistic? And what is feeding this goal? What's the energy behind this goal? Is it anxiety?
There you go.
Yeah.
That's really the key.
Yeah.
What is behind.
What's behind the goal?
Danielle, real quick, what can you take away from our discussion and give to the audience as far as some tips or?
Well, first off, love yourself enough to get moving. Love yourself enough to get moving. Self-care is hard. It's hard. It's making the hard choices of getting up. Also, something that is really effective is looking, there's a reason why Weight Watchers is the most popular program in the world, support. I have a workout buddy to get to the gym, and I can see my gym from my bedroom. and I still have a workout buddy to get me to the gym every day. Even getting yourself in a program that is a more supportive community-based program,
Support
right?
is huge.
If you want to run, join a running group. If you want to do an Ironman, go to Ironman coaches. Collaborate with people that are doing Ironman. People want to be together. That's, we're losing that. And people want to be together. They want to be accepted and they want to be loved. And that takes the anxiety piece out of it, I believe. It helps take the anxiety piece out of it. Seek out fitness professionals that match with you. I specialize in women, body sculpting, self-esteem. You're an athlete,
Right.
right?
Everyone's got their thing.
Everybody's got their thing.
All right. Well, we're going to continue this segment in a minute when we go behind the scenes because we got some other things we're going to talk about. But thank you for joining us to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
All right. And for you at home, Danielle just mentioned it. I mean, there's plenty of trainers out there. I think putting someone through a workout is the easy thing. Don't judge them on how hard a training session is. That's the easy part of what we do, right? I mean, it's all about nurturing, longevity, knowledge, caring, support. That's what a fitness professional should be there for, to help you. And remember, as we just discussed, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors out there. Stay true to yourself. Look inward first. Just find the reasons why you want to do something, and then do it. Just get off the couch. Be active. Be yourself. Love yourself. And look to others for support. Thanks for tuning in on this this fitness town hall discussion. It was a lot of fun, and maybe we'll do some more of this down the road. I like this idea. Anyway, thanks for joining. We'll see you soon. Cheers.